Hello everyone, welcome back to another SNSD reaction. Of course, just released my Into the New World reaction not very long ago, but gotta get into this full album now because put it on my schedule, and you know, it's a little bit later than I said on the schedule, but we still got it, and it just means you get more content and I can spend more time talking about each song instead of having to cram it all into one video and feeling like I have to rush through it a bit more. But you know, still this video will be quite long because we have 3 different music videos to check out as well as the rest of the album. So, you know, still very excited though. So thought this was their actual debut album for a while. So that's why I originally planned to do it all together. But okay, yeah, this is their first comeback, I suppose. And we got the song Girls' Generation, aka Soñoshide by Soñoshide, aka Girls' Generation. So it should be their like official theme song. And with all their title tracks, like I feel like I've heard most of them. And this one, like the name sounds familiar. I'm sure I'll probably recognize it when I start listening to it, but like I don't remember ever listening to a song called just Girls' Generation. I don't know. Then I think I saw, for the reason that Baby Baby and Kissing You, those have music videos too. I think there's like a repackage of this album that had those as like the title tracks, even though they're B-sides on the original album, and I don't know how that works. And then I think the repackage just had some remixes, so I don't really feel the need to check those out. But yeah, should be getting quite a big amount of Girls' Generation content today, and of course before long we'll be getting into more Girls Go to School and stuff on the Patreon, and we'll just keep checking out more and more from them. And next we'll do the G album before too long as well. So yeah, keep getting more and more excited for every reaction to this. So very excited to get into it. Make sure you subscribe for more SNSD reactions in the future. As always, check out my show K-pop Jeopardy. I say it every time. I'm probably not gonna keep doing it every single time because you get it, but that stuff's pretty cool. And also I just got this urge, you know, this has started my love, and I'm like, man, I really want to keep seeing more old K-pop stuff. So I'm going to do a deep dive on some first-gen K-pop groups before long as well. So if you have any experience in that, then let me know in the comments. Also, I'm just curious. I always had so much stuff to add to the intro, but also I'm just curious. Everyone, let me know in the comments, like how long you've been a K-pop fan. Like when did you get into SNSD? What made you, you know, fans of them? And how old are you? How much older are you than me? Because some people might be, you know, my age. Some people might have actually been around for their debut. I don't know, but I'm very curious in all your experiences. So let me know in the comments. But let's get into it. Okay, 소녀시대, Girls' Generation. Okay. Doesn't sound familiar to me yet. Definitely different than Into the New World. Wish there was subtitles. Okay, this is fun. I'm surprised that I don't recognize it for being literally their self-titled title track. Yeah. It has the same refreshing feel, kind of, but it's an interesting structure to it. And Taeyeon has always had just the most mature sounding voice, but she used to look really like cutesy. very interesting sound to this, but I'm very into it. I'm just so very vocal driven. I think that's part of what makes it, you know, feel different than modern K-pop. I like the hats. The hats are pretty cool. Of course, still had long ass, nice, full length songs back then. It's so refreshing. Yeah, I'm very surprised. I like none of that sounded familiar to me at all. Like even if I couldn't immediately remember listening to it, I was expecting to at least recognize part of it eventually when we got into it. But wow. Even with it being called Girls' Generation, I just don't recognize it. That's very surprising to me. But yeah, it feels like, you know, makes sense as a first comeback. It doesn't feel like they're straying too far from Into the New World, but definitely, you know, expanding their horizons and making them seem like they're a group that can do, you know, different types of things. They're not just going to recycle the same concept every time, of course, but definitely had just more of a bright kind of like down to earth, just fun feeling than Into the New World did, because Into the New World feels so, you know, powerful and grand and inspirational and like, you know, it's just very, very meaningful. And this felt a lot more, you know, just fun and easy listening and makes it so, I would say I definitely don't like it as much as Into the New World, but it's very, very fun. It's groovy. And, you know, as always, I'm just imagining what it was like back then in the industry. Like, did we have a lot of groups doing stuff, anything like this, or were they complete like front runners of like starting a new kind of K-pop? I don't know, but whatever this sound was, whether it was just a typical sound for back then or if they're, you know, trying out something very new, it's very, very nice sounding. And, you know, if I know SM, I would think they're probably starting some new stuff because SM loves to, you know, change the industry. But yeah, there's just something about it that makes it feel very different than most K-pop songs that I hear nowadays or just have heard, but it doesn't feel too out there. Like I would expect this type of sound from them already just from hearing their few songs from their debut. So it doesn't feel weird in that way. But yeah, I think a big part of it is how vocal driven it is. And, you know, it didn't take any getting used to for Into the New World just because I've heard it so many times. But since I haven't heard this before, it's like, yeah, it is very different from stuff nowadays. Because nowadays, like most songs are based around like hooks and stuff, and they just have like one or two vocal parts that maybe just sound really addictive, and they have those, you know, spurs throughout with usually like a lot of rap in between or just catchy parts in between that make it really just stick in your head and feel unique. And this doesn't feel as unique of a song really, but that makes it feel different to me just because nowadays I feel like every song is trying to feel unique, but then since they're all trying to do it, it doesn't always feel as unique. But this is just more down to earth and very refreshing and fun, but it is unique. It's just doesn't have that feeling of like, oh, we're trying to capture a very, very specific sound that no one's ever heard before. It's just, you know, picking a genre and doing it well and making a fun, still unique song out of it. It's just kind of more so focused on delivering the skills of their vocals and everything. And the instrumental is just very refreshing without being like too complex or anything. And it's nice. It's very, very easy and fun to listen to. So I don't know, since we're doing a whole album and I have 2 other music videos, I don't know if I'll rewatch the whole thing, but maybe I'll just click through it real quick and just see what it was like. Cause it was definitely a more basic music video. I don't know. The Into the New World music video wasn't all that complex either, but I felt like it had more of a story to it. This one, like they have a few different sets and everything, but a lot of it is just like this choreography. And that was one thing Into the New World that even surprised me a little bit was how little choreography was in that, but this feels like it's really focusing on it for most of it. And then they just switch to the different shots of them, you know, just kind of zoomed in on their face and not as much stuff that's like showcasing the sets they're on or anything. They just have these shots that make it look like they're like filming for commercials and stuff, and then have a band there, and like they have candid shots like that of them just walking around. Like they have different styles of shots for the music video that make it kind of feel full, but a lot of it feels like it's really zoomed in on their face. And I feel like nowadays, like they'll have some close-up shots of idols' faces during music videos, but then a lot of it is like showing the whole sets that, you know, they build for the music video and put budget into, and there's a lot of like farther away shots, I feel like, and for this, like, there's so much like that's so close up, and nowadays, like, if they do that, it would be like kind of rarely in a music video, and it's in between a bunch of shots that are very much not like this, but like a big chunk of the music video is just stuff that's super close up like that, which is interesting. Then the rest of it, like, yeah, they actually have band shots. I didn't even really think about that. That's kind of interesting. I don't see that much nowadays either, but that's just mostly band shots, choreography shots, and then like stuff of them close up, like in different locations still, but all very close-ups of their face, and doesn't feel like there's much of a story or like real specific concept to it overall. It's just kind of like showing them, and yeah, it feels very commercially to me. I would say it almost feels like an ad for a girl's generation. Like maybe that's why it's called that. It's just trying to get across the kind of feeling of their concept and like what the feeling of the group is without coming up with any specific story or concept to get that across. Really, is just showing them, you know, doing stuff that feels very marketable for commercials and stuff. It's like this is their kind of brand, but it's not as specific of a music video overall, and this makes it so overall I don't think it's that interesting of a music video, but you know, still fun to watch, nothing wrong with it. And main part that I like is definitely just their hats. I think those look cool. So I'd say for song and music videos, definitely step down from Into the New World, but still very much enjoyed, especially the song, but music videos fine too. I don't have any problems with it. But for initial rating, I would just say like a maybe 6.5 for the music video. Just nothing too interesting, but you know, looks fine, looks nice, and nothing wrong with it. But in the song, still, I would say Into the New World at this point, just after listening to it a few times since my reaction and just really focusing on it for itself, I'd say that's got to be like 100 out of 100 song, man. Like it's just perfect. It's so one of a kind, so inspirational, just so perfectly well done, high produced. It's just a masterpiece, definitely. This definitely isn't at that level, but you know, just because it's a step down from a perfect song doesn't make it a bad song in any way. So I'd still give it a high rating, and still wouldn't be surprised if this also grew on me a bit the more I listened to it. But for now, I would say like probably a solid 87. 87. Definitely strong. Definitely enjoy it. Excited to get into the rest of the album though. So let's go. Okay, so for the B-sides, all these lyric videos from the channel Fairy Yoons again. So check out the original ones. First one, Ooh La La. There's some weird ass sound effects like that. Ooh. Cinderella. We're just getting told the story of Cinderella through a K-pop song. That would be kind of cool, honestly. Is there gonna be a twist? Can't think of any other K-pop songs where I've been just told a story by the lyrics in this specific way. Change their perspective though. This is a nostalgic song, man. Like immediately I'm like, oh, I'm feeling nostalgia even though it's the first time I've heard it. Can't imagine how it feels if you heard it when it first came out or something. Getting the whole history of Disney or something. Ooh, what a twist. I did not see that coming. It is funny, kind of the contrast between Into the New World being like so inspirational and just, you know, high concept, and then all other B-sides are just so casual and fun. It just doesn't feel like there's any stakes in it. They're all good.
그리하여 공주님은 왕자님의 성으로 마차를 타고서 갔고요. 둘은 행복한
Which princess is it? Because you talked about a few now.
생에 아직은 빛마땅 왕자님은 없지만 어딘가 그대 있겠죠. 언젠가는 만나게 될 그대 기다리며 나는 꿈을 잊지 않아.
Ooh.
나는 아직은 어리지만 그대의 존재를 믿어요. 단 한 명의 나만의 왕자님은 그대만의 공주 될래요. 그대에게 잘 어울리는 공주가 될래. 나는 아직은 어리지만 그대의 존재를 믿어요.
I like that. I like that.
그대 역시 나를 찾겠죠. 우리 만날 그날 때까지 나 여기에 있어봤어.
That was great. That was great, man. That definitely completely unique experience for me for listening to K-pop. And again, it feels like that should be impossible with how much I've listened to. But going back in time, it's going to make it a lot easier, man. And yeah, that was just so fun. And just the lyrics were so fun too. And usually lyrics are not something that I focus in on as much. I have trouble with that, but it was very, very easy to pay attention to these because they're just so fun. They're just explaining stories of princesses and then get to the chorus and stuff. And, it ties it back to the general concept of the song. They are literally just telling the story of Cinderella for the whole thing. If they did that, though, I would respect that. I think that would be kind of funny if they literally just told us a fairy tale through a K-pop song, and they do it and of course make the whole metaphor for them. And I'm wondering if they're gonna keep doing this for like most of their songs, of having the lyrics just be about that. Like I've commented on this in like the last one and stuff, but I'm trying to describe what exactly it feels like they were being marketed as back then, because it's very different than current K-pop. And like I say, it feels a bit weirder, and just because, back then, I feel like they were kind of extra okay with just being like, oh, yeah, we're going to market you. Like, you are products. You're there to be fawned over, basically. And, like, that's still kind of what K-pop is about in a way now. But I just feel like back then, they're probably extra okay with being like, hey, you're going to be marketed as products for people to watch and fawn over, and like your goal is to make them fall in love with you, like no matter what. And I've just been trying to figure out how to describe like what this music is and how that ties into it. But it's like, with this one literally describing them as princesses and stuff, it's like, yeah, that feels like what they're really going for back then. It's like, yeah, we're gonna literally make these perfect fantasy princesses for all the guys around Korea to watch on the TV and imagine that they're they can be their princes or something. And it all just feels so kind of manufactured in a way. And it's like, yeah, you have your own girlfriend on the TV, and something about that feels a little like, I'm glad we're away from that, but there's nothing wrong with the concept in itself. And I think it's, fun to have a song with lyrics like these. It's just, I wonder how many of these songs are going to feel that way to me, where it's just like, oh, you're really trying to push this specific image just to appear all sweet and innocent and stuff. And it all feels kind of infantilizing in a way, in a little too. So that's just something where, like, nowadays it feels like, they have more of a variety of concepts, and it doesn't feel quite as like, back then, like they would go more in the sexy side or more in the innocent side. And it feels almost a bit more like fetishization in a way. And like, I'm not trying to make a big like statement like, oh, thank God this is gone. It's just something I'm noticing. And like, yeah, I think K-pop definitely is different nowadays. And nowadays it is more so about just, people looking cool while performing, and just actually more about the art in that way, and not like all this stuff wasn't artistic, because it definitely is. It definitely is wonderful art, but it feels like idols are kind of allowed to do at least more of a variety of characters for themselves. And, there's still plenty of, you have to have your idol image, but it's not all just like, oh, yes, you're going to be the perfect, innocent, perfect little girls all the time, or you're going to be super sexy and hot and make everyone horny for you. So that's just a little side message there about just my random thoughts about the whole feelings I'm getting just from their lyrics all back then, but as a song, still definitely like it. So I'm a fan of all their discography so far. And this, as I said, it feels so nostalgic and just sweet and nice, and I really like the vibes of it, and it's kind of giving me like Sailor Moon vibes. Like I don't even know what I mean by that, but like when I've watched Sailor Moon, I feel like that just gives me nice, relaxing, just lighthearted vibes in a similar way to this. So it's just definitely something that feels like it would be nice to put on and just really get you in those nice vibes without it being like too intense or anything. But yeah, for initial rating, I think it's gotta get nice, strong, like 87. I feel like I give everything 87. I know we gave the last song 87 too, but I don't know. It just feels like a nice, solid rating of like, I was a big fan of this, but it's not like a masterpiece level. And it's not like, whoa, this is crazy good. It's like, ooh, I really like this. That's what I feel like an 87 is. And I feel like I like it as much as the last one. So yeah, doing it again. So see the next one. And I never feel like I'm going to have that much to say, but then it's been 2 songs and already is this long. So, okay. But now another MV, Baby Baby. It just looks like such a kind of low quality slideshow. Looks like a behind the scenes of Girls' Generation music video for parts. Okay, just general behind the scenes, interesting. It's fine. And is this seeing this video here is like, I wonder if that's a behind the scenes for the next one we're gonna watch. From all their B-sides I've heard so far, I feel like there's a very consistent sound to them. The title tracks are different, but they'll have just a very heavy, innocent feel to them. Jesus. I feel like the makeup style was very different back then. It's like lighter than current typical K-pop makeup style. It's a very interesting choice if this was supposed to be like a kind of title track, because it has a music video, but I don't know if, you know, the next one that we're going to watch that has a music video, I don't know if that was more supposed to be the kind of title track for this repackage of this album, but if this was meant to be kind of a title track in a way, it's an interesting choice for a song, because it's very like simple for a song. Like I feel like just the baby like that's a little catchy, but the rest is all just very plain, and it's like sweet, refreshing. It's, you know, pleasant to listen to, but just not very interesting, I would say. Feels like a kind of interesting choice for as a song to give a music video. So I don't know if there will be other B-sides that I would feel like, I feel like this would have made more sense to give a music video. But yeah, like obviously it's just like a behind the scenes thing. It doesn't feel like a real music video, but I just wonder why they went with this one specifically, because even for just a behind the scenes thing, like doesn't feel like the type of song I would really be like, ooh, this one needs a video to go with it. I don't know. Since I talked so long for the first two, I feel like this is one I can give my thoughts on more easily. I suppose I have to give a music video rating too, so that would be like a 5.5. I don't know. It's like not bad, not a bad music video. It's just behind the scenes. So yeah, sure, nothing wrong with that. And then the song, like, still all of their songs so far have been refreshing and nice to listen to, but this is probably the most kind of boring to me. Like it's very plain and just pretty much just the baby 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 again. Like that's the one part that's a little more like catchy to me, and the rest is all like, voices sound nice but not too interesting to me. So I think just the vibes of it still bring it up a bit, but I would say like a 75 for initial rating. So still not too low. I still enjoyed it, but I hope they can still find like ways of keeping this concept while doing more interesting stuff with it. Because again, like all the B-sides I've heard so far from them from back here feel pretty similar to each other. But let's see what the next one is. Okay, Complete. Definitely feels like the same vibe so far. Could be more interesting.
눈부신 계절 가득히 향기로운 거리를 지나.
It's interesting how most of their songs make me kind of want to follow along to them, and like they feel kind of catchy but also just very relaxing at the same time. Definitely feels like a K-drama song.
그대 모습 가까워지면 세상 모든 행복이 다 내 것 같아. 늦은 오후 햇살에 문득 잠에서 깨 그대 모르게 웃어줘. 아직도 먼 미래에 보이겠지만 그댄 꿈이 아니길. Just one love 우리 둘이 걸어가는 길이 같기를 바래요. 굿모닝 매일 아침에 날 깨우는 그대의 전화.
Thank you. I feel like the types of songs I've heard that sound like this are like songs, like American songs or something from like the 80s. That is repeatedly kind of weird to me. Like I always think of them like they feel older than 2007 to me. Like I don't know. I think part of it is like their music videos are like lower quality than I would expect for 2007. But the sound of it too, it feels older. I think sometimes I say things in reaction that makes it seem like I'm even younger than I am, but I know it wasn't that long ago, but I think the vibes feel even longer ago than it was.
마지막일 사랑 그대길 바래요. 너무나 소중한 걸요. 그대의 사랑이 Oh, it's true. 오직 서로만 보며 그대 곁에 있고 싶어. 많은 시간 속에 변하겠지만
Yeah, this really feels like an 80s or 90s like American pop song or something. I like it. I like this one.
그대길 바래요. to make my life complete. You make my life complete.
Are we already at the end? Damn, 4 minutes can go by like that, man. That's crazy. It is interesting. Like, so many K-pop songs nowadays are like 2 minutes long, and often, like, I always hate it, but often it's like, okay, that felt longer somehow. Like, even though it was only 2 minutes long, it somehow felt longer. But this can be 4 minutes long. It's literally like double the length. I'm like, whoa, it's over already. It did not feel that long. So I don't know how they do that, but it just being such a consistent sound all the way through and not switching things up a lot, it just kind of goes by quicker because not as much stuff that varies about it. But I like this one a bit more. It's still very much the same sound as their other B-sides, but something about it was like extra relaxing to me. And again, like, it's interesting. I can't compare it to any other K-pop I've heard, but like, it kind of felt like a K-drama song. But yeah, just thinking of it while listening to it, I was like, man, this really does remind me of like some stuff my mom would listen to or something, like some 80s like vocal song like this. I don't know, from America. Which again, like, when I think of American music, I don't think they had this type of style in 2007 at all. Like, I feel like they had it earlier. So sometimes this group feels older than they even are. But yeah, this one definitely had some nice vibes. It was very relaxing to listen to. And I feel like I'm going to say that about a lot of the songs, but some of them are more effective. So yeah, this one was extra relaxing and nice to listen to. So give it initial rating, say solid 82. Then I think the next one is the next music video. Okay, Kissing You. And from the thumbnail, it seems like, yes, the other one was showing behind the scenes to this as well. So maybe it was a little out of order there, but this is the order of the album. This one might feel more title track-y. Who's that? You Super Junior member? I think so. It's really familiar. They were really doing a lot of stuff back then. Singing that on Girls Go to School. It's more title tracky in a way. So very, like, kind of simple in a way. But it's fun. I like the video. It's like all the different colorful set. He just stole her shoe and tried to give it to the other girl. He's already doing that dance. Yeah, feels like they put more budget into this video than the other one. He must be Super Junior member, right? I feel like I should remember which one though. I don't. Oh damn. There's a glitch, but it looks like it was actually in the video. It didn't look like it was my computer. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that one again definitely felt like a B-side. I don't know. I don't know if it actually did feel more like one that could have a music video than the other B-sides, but yeah, it's definitely very similar. Like a lot of these I feel like are very similar, and that's something I would say I'm glad we're not quite like that as much in K-pop nowadays. Is like a lot. I like a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing back here, and like even though I love current K-pop, there's definitely a lot of stuff that I'm seeing like, ooh, I like the way things were back then. That's one thing, at least for this first album here, at least for SNSD at this time. I feel like for their B-sides specifically, not for their title tracks, but for their B-sides, they're very, very similar sounds for a lot of them. And even though they're all nice and relaxing and everything, it's like, I just want a bit more of a kind of unique production for each one. And I feel like in modern K-pop is pretty much always like that. There are very few albums where every song sounds like the same. So it makes me feel like, I'm kind of just recycling words with every new song I'm listening to. So just coming up with, luckily with SNSD, I have more other thoughts to say just about them every time I'm watching more stuff with them. I'm just getting more thoughts about what K-pop was like back then, so I can basically change the subject and talk about random other stuff for a while. But just when I get back into each song, it's like, yeah, it's not a whole lot different than the last few I listened to, unfortunately, even though it is nice. I enjoy it. And like the last one is like, I liked it more than the other ones, but I don't have a lot to say to differentiate my opinion on each one. It's just like this one's calm, soft vibe spoke to me more than the other one's calm, soft vibe, even though they're both just a basic calm, soft vibe. I don't know. I did enjoy seeing the music video. That's one thing for this. It's always nice to get a music video, even if the song, again, it's not the type of song I would expect to have a music video, so it's interesting, but the video's nice. I just like the colors of it and all the different sets they made, especially the mushroom one's interesting. It looks like they forgot to like take out a green screen. But then like the one where they're just sitting on these weird like dinosaur thing. And then when he for some reason tries to take her shoe and give it to Taeyeon, I think that's who that is. Yeah, I like all the sets they made for it. Yeah, it almost does seem like they would have had to have a higher budget for this music video than some of the other ones. So it's interesting. Then I kind of wonder why it's in this like aspect ratio here, because I feel like they could have expanded it to make it like the regular size of a typical music video. So I wonder why they just kept the black bars on the top and bottom there. I suppose for the music video for this one, gets solid 7 out of 10. It's nicer than the other ones I've seen. It's like cool, fun sets, but still not a whole lot to get like super into it or be like, oh, I really want to rewatch this music video. Then the song, it's nice. I enjoyed it. Still not much more interesting than the other ones, but I think it can still get solid 78. Merry-go-round.
Mary, take me to the merry-go-round.
That seems kind of fucked up. Just because she's Mary, you assume she can take you to a merry-go-round? I like the ones with stories like this. That makes the vibes hit harder for me, definitely. Again, that's another thing different than modern K-pop. There's not stories in songs very much. Is this a lesbian song? Are you still talking to Mary? There's a lot of like all together parts in their songs where, they're all singing the same line at the same time. So that one hit a little harder. if he's like, then what is Mary like? Can't just mention her, can't just bring her up out of nowhere and be like, hey, take me to the merry-go-round, instead start singing about some random other guy. Gee, just giving her nothing. Okay, I like that one a bit more than some of the others, but I don't know if it's just that the ones with story elements make me like them more. There's the ooh la la with the princess storyline that made me just a bit more interested in the song, and I guess I could, imagine a scenario a bit more with it, so it just felt more alive to me. And usually I feel like lyrics don't affect my ratings, but they might be subconsciously doing that for me here. I don't know. Because then just at the end there, I was just focusing on the instrumental more and being like, should try and find what things are different about the songs, because a lot of them have some very similar vibes. And like for some of the others, I noticed how electronic a lot of it was. And it's like, again, since 2007, obviously way back in the 80s and stuff, they still had electronic instruments and everything, but it just feels like, back then it's like, no, they must have all done acoustic back then, because that's too modern to use electronic instruments. But I noticed for this one, it sounded more like real instruments, just the real drums and everything. I don't know, I didn't notice the more like squeaky electronic sounds. I'm definitely a fan of like electronic music a lot, but this one sounded nice. I like just like the drums in it. It's just dum, dum, dum. I like when they have some nice deep stuff in there along with the soft vocals for all of it. Just makes it feel a bit more alive. Yeah, again, repeating stuff for a lot of the songs, but like repeating my thoughts, but doesn't mean that I'm like bored by any of the songs really. It's like maybe I'm just like, oh man, I wish I had a bit more to say, but I am enjoying them all because they're all very relaxing, and I'd love to just let this whole album play while I'm doing something, and I would get in a nostalgic and like relaxed mood. So definitely like all of these. And this one for initial rating, probably 81, I'd say. Okay, this one's Tears or 그대를 부르면. So that means like if I call you. But that's just one thing I have noticed, the word 그대. Like I was just re-listening to some older Twice songs, and like 그대 means you, but I feel like it's only really used in like lyrics or like written, like not really spoken much. So that was just interesting to me. But I was re-listening to some older Twice songs, and I was like, I noticed those in the lyrics a few times here, but I feel like those are never even really used in lyrics nowadays. Like I almost never hear songs, like modern K-pop songs, that use the word kide. So it feels like now not just it's only really used in like written stuff like lyrics. Like nowadays it feels like it's not even in lyrics anymore. So it's interesting. I don't know why saying you in Korean is so complicated. I still get confused by how I should go about that. But let's hear this song. Sparkly. Immediately feel more of a kind of dark mood to it. This black darkness is pushing me away from far. There's a song title like Tears, it makes sense. Expect a more sad song. And we just have the like Disney princess magical song in the background. This whole album is making me feel like I want to play the Wii game I played when I was a kid. Disney Princess Magical Adventure or something. With every single song is making me think of that. Speaking of Twice, like there's a few times when just slightly suddenly I get reminded of Twice in a way from some of their oldest B-sides. It's like, there's like a slight similarities, even though it's a while between them. I really like this one. Okay, yeah, definitely like that one. Okay, I mean, obviously it was a different concept for that one because all the rest of them just very sweet and soft. Like, I love being in love. I love my man, my knight in shining armor. But this one's more about heartbreak, so we're gonna have a slightly different tone to it, and they get across the emotion, but it's kind of interesting. It's not as fully somber as some other songs. Like, it's a more kind of distant sadness to it, I feel like, and I'm not hearing like a deep emotion to it. I'm just hearing more kind of dejectedness and like a far away, like sad, dejected feeling, but it's not going too fully into it. So I would be interested to hear what they would sound like on a song like that, where they go a bit harder into the emotion, but I still like the vibe of this, definitely. I like the kind of subtlety to the emotion, and still felt like a kind of refreshing change than the rest of the B-side so far. It felt like, still a bit of a switch up, and it's keeping the basic vibe of the album. Is still not too crazy of a concept, and it's the type of song I would still expect from them. Like, it's not surprising at all, but it's just a bit refreshing and a bit of a shake up compared to the last few. So I don't know if I inherently like it better than the others, but it's just refreshing to hear it amongst all the other ones that have sounded very similar so far. I'd say for initial rating for this one, it's solid 83. So I think it's kind of up there with one of my favorites on the album so far. Let's get into the next one. Okay, Tinkerbell. Got Disney princesses, now Tinkerbell. They get sued by Disney after that? Man, they really love those sparkly, like, I guess for Tinkerbell, fairy sounding sounds there, but it always sounds like someone's waving a magic wand. Yeah, back then they really had a lot of, singing together parts. I don't know, I think there should be a word for those, but I don't know. Singing in the chorus. Those don't happen as much nowadays.
어른 나라 마녀가 우리 앞에 차가운 바람이 불게 하는 날에
Just always those drums that give like the slightest hip-hoppy feel, even though the rest of it is not like that at all.
변할 수가 있잖아요. 그대와 함께라면 뭐든 두렵지 않아. I'll be your Tinkerbell in the sky. 한여름 바다처럼 습가른 하늘처럼 푸른빛 반짝이며 시작되는 꿈인걸요. 그대와 하고 싶은 것들이 하나씩 늘어가는데 우리 함께 할 시간들이 부족할까 걱정이죠.
I just started hearing that line. I was like, ooh, her voice has that. Which member is that? And it's Taeyeon. Chakra.
Tinkerbell in the sky. 겨울밤 첫눈처럼 스치는 햇살 신기한 마법으로 날아가고 싶어. 그대와 함께라면 뭐든 두렵지 않아. I'll be your Tinkerbell in the sky. 한여름 바다처럼 습가른 하늘처럼 푸른빛 반짝이며 시작되는 꿈인걸요.
So, I think I might be in a little bit of trouble here as a reactor. I just have no new thoughts about this. It's a problem. It's a bit of a problem. I'm like, God, I hope their future albums aren't like this, at least not for too long, because I want more stuff to say. And I'm liking every song I'm hearing. There's not anywhere I'm like, it's kind of boring or anything. Like, they all sound nice. It's just, they all sound way too similar vibes, just all very much the same concept. And I'm like, what do I say about this? I don't know. I can't just play it and then move on. I need to say something, but what? This would be a good time to learn how to read, so I can talk about the lyric. Do these feel more Tinkerbell-y? Come to know all the lights in the world. To you, everything I've sent. Like, a lot of it just feels like very typical romantic lyrics as well, which usually is like, I have no problem with that. But then if the song also kind of sounds the same as the others too, then I don't know. It's like, oh, yeah, pretty lyrics. I fly to you, the witch of ice world from fairy tales. Which fairy tales? Blows cold wind in front of us one day. Yeah, it's probably witch fairy tales because it's the ice witch. Promise we can overcome it together. I'll be your Tinkerbell in the sky. I don't know. Tinkerbell's from Peter Pan. I remember watching a Tinkerbell movie when I was a kid that was about an ice world. But I don't know how much these lyrics actually have to do with Tinkerbell. They're pretty lyrics. They're nice, but it's also, again, just the basic, like, oh yes, innocent, pure love and everything. It's not that much to change about it. And then I was trying to focus on the instrumental too, but then it's just kind of the basic same as some of the other ones as well. It's like pretty, a lot of basic instruments, not as, as much of the modern or electronic music again, which makes me a little bit less interested, but still nothing to criticize about it really. Like, this one might be a little less interesting than some of the others, but still, like, nice. I enjoy it. Maybe this one is especially like that, but I do hope that I have some more stuff to say about the next album I do, because it feels weird just getting to the end of every song and be like, oh yeah, sounds like the last one. And maybe on more re-listens I would be able to differentiate them more and be like, oh no, I like what this one has to offer. But on the first listens is a little bit harder. But if next album has a lot of B-sides like this too, then I don't know, I'll have to figure out something to talk about. But that's for next time. For now, I'll just say, writing for this song, I think this one might have just been extra less interesting to me, so that's why I feel that after listening to this one. But I'll say probably like a 70 for this one. So yeah, I think it's my least favorite. I think we only have one more. Yeah, this one's interesting. 7989, and it's just Taeyeon and Kangta, who apparently is from HOT, which I didn't even know that. I had heard his name before, but from HOT. I don't know why it would be called 7989. Chirgu Pargu. No idea what that means. up with that title, but we'll find out, perhaps. It's interesting, just kicking out the other 8 members just to shove in Kangta too. That's a nice voice. Those typical, one male vocalist, one female vocalist, and they're singing like a relationship in one song. And I like the story feel in songs, and this one with them talking to each other just makes it a bit more intriguing. This one, again, it's just as relaxing as the other ones, but just, with them being different vocalists, of course, but just having the, back and forth makes it more interesting. Like the little instrumental in there. Okay, so that's all of them. I would say definitely, also have, Soan or Honey or Perfect for You and Tashiman and Seige at the end of this album. I would say Into the New World then is definitely my favorite part of this album, but, still overall, it was nice. It was nice. I like it. I would say generally most K-pop albums nowadays I would probably like better than this one, but I'm still very excited to see more, and I'm loving, watching their variety stuff with Girls Go to School, but definitely have high hopes for the future of their music as well, because, if they can produce amazing title tracks, they can do it for B-sides too, I'm pretty sure. So excited to see how it changes over the years and see if their next comeback is a bit different than this, because I think G is pretty different than Into the New World or Girls' Generation, the song. So definitely excited to see how they change. But yeah, for this song, I still have no idea why it's called 7989. So someone explain that to me in the comments, please, because yeah, I have no idea where that comes from. But it's cool to have a little feature like this. It seemed like back then there's just a lot more interactions between groups, and I would like that if they would do it nowadays more so, man. I always love seeing that type of stuff. So, it was refreshing for this type of album, but just rating it as a song on its own is still not the most interesting song to me ever. Still, probably I'll give it like a 72 or something. Like, not bad at all, but even though it's refreshing to have a little bit of a shake up on the album, I probably liked most of the other songs better still. So, that's good. Still like the type of songs they put out, and hope that there's still some good ones on the next one. I'm sure there will be, but yeah, just for my and your sake, as reactor and person watching reactor, I hope I can have a bit more to say. And if not, I'll have to come up with something. I'll give one number of my credit card for every song that I can't come up with interesting thoughts about. And luckily, the next one's just an EP, so you shouldn't be able to get through all of it. But stay tuned. Stay tuned if you want to see that. I think I'm tired as well. That might have affected this video, but I liked it. I liked the album. I liked Girls' Generation. That was probably my favorite song on the album. And then probably Ooh La La for favorite B-side. And I liked another one, I can't remember the name. Complete too. I think those are my favorite. But Since Into the New World is technically on this. That was definitely my favorite because, again, that's like 100 out of 100 songs. But yeah, I like SNSD a lot. I really, really am getting into them. So definitely subscribe for more reactions from them in the future. Just think about your favorite SNSD song and think that I'm going to react to them eventually. Of course, check out my Patreon for my Girls Go to School reactions and for more variety stuff we'll do in the future. And stay tuned because I want to do a first gen girl group deep dive before too long. So again, leave recommendations for that. Leave all your thoughts. Let me know when you became a K-pop fan, an SNSD fan. And yeah, I'd love to hear all your stories. So see you in the next video.